We are the blue team, and this is Changing Navigation at the University of Maryland. Think back to when you were a freshman trying to get to class for the first time. As students at the University of Maryland, we have all experienced what it is like to be at a new and unfamiliar school. New students have to adapt to a completely new setting. One of the most difficult parts of the transition is navigating the new campus. A lack of adequate wayfinding tools is not only inconvenient for visitors and prospective students, but it is also frustrating. It does not reflect the excellence of the university. This is my first semester at College Park, and I have experienced this frustration firsthand. Wandering around aimlessly looking for my classes and parking lot created stress during my first couple of months at the University of Maryland that could have been easily avoided with better navigation tools. I know that this university can do better. Defining the problem. Although numerous options are available, such as online and physical maps and smartphone apps, it is still difficult to find your way around such a large campus. Online maps tend to be inaccessible and impractical when you're walking around campus and trying to read them from a tiny phone screen. Smartphone apps are poorly designed and not very user-friendly. They do not adequately orient the user to which direction they are headed. Additionally, smartphone apps will not necessarily have the location you're looking for. Although many buildings have small signs in front or on the side of them, these signs can be hard to read unless you're standing immediately at the entranceway of the building. Physical signs around campus are inadequate in scope and number. This makes it difficult for a wandering student or visitor to find the building that he or she is looking for. A small sign on the building is not enough to direct a student. Who is responsible for this problem? Facilities management are responsible for the physical campus, its academic research, and administrative spaces. On the screen, you're looking at the organizational structure, and the department known as Operations and Maintenance is in charge of the management of signs and graphics on the university campus, among its other responsibilities. With the increase in students attending the university, the problem of navigating campus is going to become more severe. We believe that Jack Baker and Charles Reining could be the leaders that we would need to initiate this project.
In order to delve further into this problem to gather information, our group created 2 surveys with the objective of determining whether there is truly a need for more signs and better maps on campus. The population that we sampled were 88 University of Maryland students. For the first survey, we asked a question such as, how many times has a visitor/new student asked you for directions? As you can see from this pie chart, the majority of students have been asked for directions at least 1 or more times. Another question that we asked were, how do you believe navigation around campus can be improved? Some of the answers that were included were put up signs showing buildings or improve the navigation maps, have more accessible maps, and have more effective tours that show more buildings. For survey 2, we asked the question, how long into your University of Maryland experience did it take for you to be fully acclimated with this campus? As you can see, the majority as well took at least 2 weeks or more to be fully acclimated with the campus. Another question we asked was, what is the most confusing part about navigating campus? Some of the answers included lack of maps/directions posted, finding a room in a new building, finding new buildings, having unclear winding paths and not a lot of signs, and using maps and finding rooms in the building. Lastly, another question we asked was, how confusing is it to navigate around campus? 1 being not confusing and 5 being very confusing. Taking a look at this pie chart, you can see that the majority of students do not think that it's not confusing at all, with having as little as 18% only choose 1 for being not confusing. So in conclusion, the primary data reinforce our proposal that current campus navigation tools are not adequate for students, faculty, or visitors.
What have other universities done to address this problem? Virginia Tech created an in-depth wayfinding master plan to solve their campus navigation issues. The extensive 61-page document detailed how they were going to integrate new interpretive parking, street, trail, and other signs, along with maps and banners to make it easier to navigate with Virginia Tech. In addition, they hoped updating the signage would aesthetically improve the campus and the Virginia Tech brand. At the beginning of the spring semester of 2015, Armstrong University's grounds and landscape crew introduced guide maps around campus and in heavy traffic areas. Quoted in the article, sophomore Alex thinks that the signs will be really useful for students and visitors to the campus. He says, plenty of people ask where their classes are, and these signs make it easier for them to find the buildings. The university is also pleased with the appearance of the new signs and believe they have improved the campus' overall appearance. The University of Wisconsin introduced direction signs around campus in fall of 2011 to improve campus navigation. The facilities designer at the Plattsville campus, Gary Zouch, says navigation on any campus is the key if the campus wants prospective students and parents to visit. Zouch designed the signs to maximize visibility, maintain school spirit using school colors, and reflect the forward-thinking and innovative nature of the university. In the future, the university also plans to install lit signs and maps in other parts of campus. The College of New Jersey also has a plan in place for the development of a campus-wide signage implementation. It will provide insight on the processes and steps professionals will follow when working on a similar project. Included in 12 separate documents is a series of reports, standards, schematics, recommendations, and sketches. This source has been created by a professional designing firm, Kyle Geshin Associates, which validates its credibility.
Our solution proposal is to place maps and signs in strategic points on the University of Maryland campus. In order to complete this project successfully, we should follow the following 5 steps. First, determine what types of maps and signs are necessary and where to place them. Pedestrian and driver maps should have different styles that fit best with each type of user. Second, designing and prototyping the signage. We should strive to design signs that are simple, easy to follow, and agree with the University of Maryland culture. The prototypes should be made with temporary materials such as plywood and PVC pipe. Third, we should test the prototype by placing mock signs on campus. Fourth, we should collect information on the reaction to the new signage from the students, visitors, and any other users on campus. And finally, we should make changes based on this feedback and install the official signs with a unified style and theme in the University of Maryland College Park. This is a map of the mall section of the University of Maryland campus. Circled in red are the central buildings that students frequent. The yellow lines represent the most well-traveled roads by pedestrians. The green stars represent where busy pedestrian traffic intersect, and possible points for placements of signs and maps. Further research is necessary to determine where exactly the maps and signs should be placed in campus.
In order to improve the methods of navigation at the University of Maryland, we are proposing a plan change. Plan changes are changes in activities that are intentional and goal-oriented. One of the goals of plan changes specific to our situation is to improve the ability of the organization to adapt to change in its environment. As Maryland's popularity as a university increases, more and more people will be visiting the university's campus. The university must adapt to this by meeting the needs of visitors and making it easier to navigate the huge campus. We as a group are the change agents that are initiating this adaptation. We are the outside consultants who are acting as catalysts for this change. The best type of leader needed to make this change would probably be a production-oriented leader, because our problem focuses mostly on the structure of the university rather than the people within it. As we move forward in implementing this change, we could potentially encounter some resistance from the university. The university is already making a lot of change on the campus, as you can see from all the construction going on, so they may consider this change not important enough. But as more people enter the Maryland's campus, the more important navigation becomes. We are managing this change through action research, one of the 4 approaches discussed in our organizational behavior textbook. Action research is a change process based on systematic collection of data, consists of 5 steps: diagnosis, analysis, feedback, action, and evaluation. The advantage of this process is that it allows other students to be engaged in implementing the change. The disadvantage is that it's not as in-depth as the other methods like Cotter's 8-step plan, but for our purposes this method works pretty well. During this presentation, you have seen us diagnose the problem by identifying the navigational problems on campus, analyze the problem by surveying other students here at Maryland, and provide feedback by sharing what we have found during our diagnosis and analysis. We now need to take action. We will take action by asking the University of Maryland's Facilities Management Department to accept our proposal to install new signs and maps around the campus in order to solve our navigation problem. You can help us by sharing your personal stories about the problem you have had when navigating our campus to the department. This will help the department understand that it is important to solve the problem. So in conclusion, we believe that students, staff, and visitors struggle navigating Maryland's large campus. This problem is the responsibility of the Facilities Management Department, so we propose that they install new signs and maps. We need to take action to make these changes by approaching the Facilities Management Department with our ideas. Help us take action by sharing your personal experience with the department, and hopefully we can improve the navigation at the University of Maryland.